Oh, I forgot that I went live 30 seconds ago. Sorry, YouTube viewers. That is my bust. My bad. How's everybody doing today? As always, if you're watching this on the YouTube, feel free to skip around, skip ahead. It's all good. This is raw and uncut. I don't know what's going on here. Not quite sure how this happened, but it did. We'll deal with it. We'll make this into a nice little bank. We'll make it into a bank. Hey, Swanee. What's going on, buddy? I'm just gonna grab these edges and pull them out a little bit so that they're easier to work with. And if you get a bunch of subscribers, you'll make even more bank. That is hilarious. At some point soon, I need to find a way to fit everything on the screen. I wonder if I made this just a bit smaller. I think people will be bummed out on that though. Let me play around with this a little bit because I'd like to be able to fit chat on the screen as well, so that if people are watching on the YouTube or whatever. But now I've got so much negative space. I'd like to find a setup that worked well, where I could show enough of what's going on screen, while also being able to show chat. Let me know if you have any ideas. If you're watching this on YouTube and you've got some ideas for setup, feel free to comment below, or pop by Discord, or whatever. Whatever it is that you'd like to do. I need to get back to my calm and soothing voice. I know people used to like that. When we were doing art before, it was easy to be a little bit more soothing. What's up, Radigar? Maybe just let chat overlay a little on the bottom right. Now this feels weird. Yeah, it's true. I mean, the only time I get jacked up is if I'm using the inspector or something. Oh, I see that, Radigar. I saw you guys chatting it up in Discord before or as I was logging in. Hey, Sikaj. Let me see if I can get a little bit of chat going. Plus. What widget? I think it was a widget. Chat box widget, maybe? Let's try it. Add stores. Chat box. Add stores. So big though. I'll put it over here and see if it works. I've got the feeling I need to just put it on my list of things to do. Because it needs to have a little bit of a background as well, so that there's some consistent... I don't know. You know what? No offense to you people watching on YouTube, but it's just a it's just a YouTube video that I'm screwing around with right now, right? Oh man, let's see. We're gonna try to fit you guys in this box over here. So bottom right, just like you mentioned, Swanee. We'll see what happens. And we'll cut this down a little bit. And that'll be that. That'll be that. Oh shit. There's the monsters and the memories. Let me try to fit you in even more here. Okay, we'll put it there. It's not like you guys are that talkative. Is that the elusive hover palm? Yes, we have new technology. Well, I guess it would be magic here. Gnomish palm trees. These are little placeholder trees. Little PHs. Let's see. What are you guys talking about right now? Hey, Maze. 1,000 cookie points away from dueling me. I totally forgot about the channel points and stuff. Maybe I should refresh on that one day. I should probably spend some time just thinking about nothing but stream related stuff. Hey Zukin. I don't know how this happened in here, but apparently there's just some weird stuff going on in here. So I was basically just trying to squish this down to be at the kind of water line, and all of a sudden this line of random ass like faces popped up here, and I was like, how did they get here? So I think rather than continue to try to do stuff with them, I should probably should have just deleted these faces. But I don't know how far the problem goes. Does it go here? I don't understand why they're here. I just don't. Vandigan, what brings you around? Have you been lurking before? Twitch is kind enough to tell me when it's somebody's first time chatting. And it is your first time chatting. So welcome if you're new. If you're not new, if you've just been shy, then congratulations on being less shy today. First time, be gentle. Of course. Of course, I will. Let's see. What the hell do I keep selecting? There's... Interesting. Let's see. What else is going on in chat? Cryptini! Trees! The way you spelled it was a lot bolder than the way she said it. Thank you for 14 months, Cryptini. How's life? It is good, Keebs. How are you? I do not know why I have these random ass... Like these random ass faces just appeared here. Yeah, so it's funny. I accidentally pocket dialed Lee save quit earlier. In responding to a Discord message, I was like, I don't know. I have no idea how I pocket dialed you. I'm glad nothing weird was going on. All I was doing was eating lunch and listening to the Jocko podcast. So it was relatively tame compared to what could have been going on. I might have been in the bathroom or something. That would have been awkward. Awkward. What are you playing these days, Keebs? Are you still playing on RP server? one of the new people in our Discord was mentioning that they're into GTA and Red Dead RP, and I thought of you, Keebs. I'm not even bullshitting. Not more than like 2 or 3 hours ago. Mostly just watching streams, recovering from surgery. Can't spend more than 20 minutes in your chair, so I watch from bed. Oh man. Hopefully it was nothing seriously bad, buddy. You recovering okay? Pattis is here. Yay, Pattis. I don't know what the hell happened, but I was squishing this down to the water line just because I can't not meddle with stuff. I should really just be continuing to set up the rest of the zones. Anyways, and when I squashed this down, these random faces appeared, and I don't know why they're here, and I'm afraid just to delete them. Should I just delete them? What I did over here on the side was I went with it. I just went with them. But, you know what? Bullet Catcher, are you Bullet in Discord? Because if you are, I was just talking about you. Hey, Nicodemus. Hip surgery, been waiting 2 years for. Recovery going well. Oh man, well I'm glad that you're finally able to get it. Sucks to have to wait on something like that. And I'm glad you're recovering. Hip surgery sounds gnarly. I once worked with a guy, he's a game designer. He had to get both hips replaced. The younger guy too. Bullet Catcher is Bullet in Discord, and I was literally I love using the word literally like that. But literally I was just a couple minutes before you got in telling my friend Keebs here, because Keebs is big into RP as well, that somebody new in our Discord was had just mentioned playing on RP, GTA, and Red Dead servers, which is pretty neat. Ollie and I are big fans of that. Select the weird vert and the vert below it, and then hit Alt-C. When it does that, it can cause the weird black flicker. So I'm not 100% sure what you're saying I should do here. Merge them down to the verts below. Ah, okay, I see what you're saying. All right, so go to vert. So basically, I shouldn't have done what I did over here. Like basically, I just took them and started moving them out into forming this coastline. Because there was a straight line of these right along here. And again, I have no idea where they came from. If I grab this, like, how does this even happen? Makes me very nervous. So, but could I instead take, what if I take these spaces, like this one, and this tool is kind of weird because then I gotta go here as well, and then I delete them. And then I go to the verts, and then merge them. Like this vert and this vert, which I just learned how to, I think. Is it collapse vertices? Alt-C, okay, that's what you're saying to do. Because I just figured out that was merge vert when I was diddling around over here earlier today. Tight. Okay, cool. Cool and the gang. Coolio. And then this guy right here is just like, what? There's not even a face there now. So I will say that some of this, it's rad that it's in Blender. It's, you know, it's kind of cool that I'm able to do this stuff in Blender. But then some of this stuff I'm like, it's just so much more intuitive. I mean, sorry, not Blender, but Unity. But then some of this, it just is so not as easy as Blender. So it's like, So, like with this missing piece here, it's just so sloppy. I feel bad because I know at some point you're gonna have to come in and clean this shit up. Grab those 3 verts with the missing face, collapse them. Okay. Is there just a button that I can push to go to vert selection? The weird thing is, if I collapse these, then all of a sudden it's going to start getting wonky, right? Because I went ahead and, you know what I'm going to do? I don't think I've saved recently. I'm hoping I didn't save recently. Let me... I'm almost willing to revert all this stuff. Alright, let me leave here without saving. Don't save. Let me come back in and see what's what. And then let me see if I can just do something else. With regards to... I feel like I'm making a mess that's unnecessary. And it shouldn't, like when I did this, it shouldn't have been like an accidental extrusion because all I did honestly was push them down the same way I did like over here. So I don't know what happened. I don't know. Oh well. Alright, so we got these bad boys here. I'm thinking about just deleting. Just doing a lot of deleting. If you remember geometry and EQ days, some of that was kind of wonky. Tools are better. Oh, for sure. And the thing is, we're trying to recreate some of that wonkiness. Because I love some of the artifacts that's in there, like the various steps and stuff, and the broken, like shattered bits of geo. Part of that was the tool, part of it was the exporter, if I'm not mistaken. So. Alright, so let's just delete some stuff and see where we end up. So we'll go to face mode. And the idea of not having that easy brush select that exists in Blender, man, that's a little bit of a bummer. Or I could just hit C and then just paint all of the faces or verts or whatever. You're surprised there isn't a better way to sculpt the terrain? There probably is a better way to sculpt the terrain, but there are 2 things with that. We may, in a little bit, use their sculpting tool. I mean, I've got it installed, right? So we could use Polybrush, I guess, the sculpt. But the thing is, I think I mentioned it. Oops. I think I mentioned it on the last stream. I'm a big fan of us really sort of hand shaping the terrain in a very specific way as much as possible. When things start to look too sculpted, ugh, I'm not as big a fan of that. It's just a personal preference thing, I think. I think I'm onto something though, in terms of style. I think I've had enough people agree with me that I don't feel bad. Alright, so it's interesting too, because I select these faces from here. I don't know. Let's see what happens. And then did I just delete these faces and it left edges, or are these edges for something else? The edges are here. Hey, Dreg. So then do I need to, you know what I mean? Like this just feels like it's, oh, it just feels like something's bad's gonna happen. Ah. That's what's going on. But WTF, why is this plane even here? Or are these faces? I don't. Shreddy Krueger said, if you're looking to get clothes printed for a reasonable price, I recommend Terminus Tees. I'll look it up. I just hit up a buddy of mine and I'm amped. He got back to me pretty quickly. He worked at one of the bigger screen printing companies in the skateboard industry. Like they screen printed so many companies' stuff for like 20 years. I think he was there for 20 or 21 years. That's where I met him in San Diego through a mutual friend who owned and ran a couple of skateboard companies. Or I think he ran them. He ran them. He should have owned them, but no. So Terminus Tees. I'll look. See, the problem is I need somebody that can not only print, but also has a shop interface that we can integrate, because right now the print on demand thing that I'm using is, I mean, it handles everything for us, right? So to give that up is going to be kind of tough. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be so much cleanup here. Anyway, got a hold of the dude, and he just got back to me, and I'm hoping he can recommend somebody that can handle like the whole shebang for us. If not, then we may have to just go with the lesser quality print on demand initially. Yeah, Keeps, I'm actually wearing merch. We did a test run. Like I don't I think the perfect setup would be a place that can do quality screen printing. The perfect place would be somebody that does quality screen printing, but then also has like the shop interface that we can integrate. I think we're using Printful at the moment. And you know, some of the things that they do are actually, oh my god, that's probably, honestly, that may even be the best bet. I don't know how this happened, because this started as a plane, and then, you know, but I just, man. Tuesday, thank you for your generosity. Congrats, Keep. I just feel like by the time I get done cleaning up whatever the hell happened here, I could have just laid another plane down and just started over. Why, thank you. All right. I was messing with the chat box over there. Oh. I mean, you know, push come to shove, the worst thing that happens is Pattis just has to fix a bunch of stuff, which I know he loves to do. Like, hey, thanks for helping. Also, thanks for now deleting all these spaces unnecessarily. But I asked you many times, Pattis, I was like, am I creating a bunch of work for you, or am I actually helping by doing this? And you're like, no, it's a help. All right, well, if that's not true, the only person you're cheating is yourself. Later on, you're gonna be like, this son of a gun. Apologies if I missed something in Slack just now. Lesser quality now, high quality as the solution prints itself. Yeah, you guys will see if you read this month's update when it goes out. It'll be, I'll tell you a little secret. It's already on the website, but it's going to be, the link to it will be mailed at 7 o'clock New York time, so Eastern time. It's scheduled to go already. But if you want to get ahead of the curve, you can go to our website and you can see it now. So hold on, let me Stream Deck is being stupid. No, not this. Stream Deck. Come on, Stream Deck. That's what the top level of my Stream Deck looks like when things aren't locking up. It looks like this. It's so boom, commands, website. All right, so you can get the latest update there. Oh my god. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Aaron. I enjoy listening to Robert's music. Maybe I should be doing this. Alt-C. Just stitching things together. I used to love to sew. My mom, man, could she sew? Well, I guess she still can, but I don't see how stitching these things together randomly is not causing some sort of weird computational Hellraiser unlocking of a dimensional portal cube situation. I'm just gonna stitch all these together. Is that dangerous, Pattis? Does that, like, if I stitch all these together, where do the faces go? Are the faces still there? You do that all the time? Okay, cool. I feel less sketchy about it. Because to me, my brain, I think like the faces are still here. They're just really, really small now. Oh no. Logically, it makes sense that they would be removed, but my brain, for whatever reason, seems to think that they would just be smashed together in some weird Hadron Collider. It's like, oh my gosh. Every time we do this, it produces quarks and neutrinos. Hey, Droopy Droop. It's a valid thought. Thank you. I thought I was just being crazy. Looks like you're editing Sonic 3D Blast right now. It's because of the trees. Either that or what's the Donkey Kong one? Oh my goodness. I'm really starting to wonder. Alright, I'm almost done here. I can stop complaining and just clean the rest of this shit up and then go back to being somewhat forward in my momentum. Fellow 3D artists, do you get like cramps in your hands from constantly like holding shift and doing weird keystrokes? Now I feel bad about all the times I yelled at our 3D artists over the years. Like, why aren't you working? My hands are sore. I need to take a break. Work harder. Maybe I was wrong. Good to catch you streaming. Been loving checking out the many YouTube interviews and game devs. With game devs, such a small world. We've all worked with someone who's worked with someone. Yes, it's true. I'm glad you enjoyed the videos. Thank you. No, but my left elbow is messed up from using a keyboard constantly. I could imagine that. I seem to remember you used to have optimized models after you sculpted them, and it would clean up faces that were not being used. May not have remembered that right. You used to have to optimize. I know in Blender I was causing some problems due to Ollie was having to fix stuff because I just had like random ass faces and edges and verts and stuff that were causing things to break. Anytime I'm helping, ultimately someone's gonna have to help fix my help. With multiple people editing terrain, BDC asked, do you plan on having a single person do final passes to ensure the look and feels the same, or is everyone using the same tools enough to get that final detail chunk right? I've got the feeling in the future we'll do a number of passes for both consistency and polish. It's something we'll just have to continue to talk about a bit as a team, but I do think that there are some passes that'll need to happen in terms of just making sure. I mean, part of it will not be necessarily like one person, but it'll be us looking and going, hey, are these things consistent? We do that a bit as we go right now, but we'll do it more later, I think. And then there'll be some things that we may do a full pass where we either get some assistance from a third party or outsource certain things, etc. Not to disparage any of the work that's been done on any of the textures and stuff, but like the early proof of or the early sort of key art textures that we got by Marie, and then some of the character textures that we got during our test with the outsourcing company, I really like them. And so I could even see a situation where later on, when we got things pretty much where we want them, we do a bit of a pass of taking something like, say this zone was done and it had all of its points of interest in it and everything looked the way it ultimately wants to look, and we've got all the objects we want and structures and all that. I could see then a little bit later for consistency's sake and just stylistically or whatever, we could do just like a full texture pass, that type of thing. And I think it'd be easier for us to understand the implications in terms of like costs and time and stuff, because we've got everything in here. It's interesting because when you think about like the zone revamps that were done art wise in EQ, there's no, I understand why they happened the way they did, because I mean, I was there for it. But like in hindsight, I could see where it's like, hey, let's revamp the zone. And it would be more like the process that's going on with the Lantern team, Lantern EQ, you know, those guys. So, Pat has said also check the edges around that area. I noticed one spot you missed, that the two edges didn't actually merge together. Okay, we may have to play a game of hot cold in a bit. Oh, it got quiet because YouTube wants to know if I'm still here. I am. So if this isn't doing anything weird as I merge, this looks like it may be easier to fix this than it seems. Loki, you tricky devil, you. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, it's interesting because like even here, this just shouldn't exist, right? And that bothers me to no end, but it looks like it's maybe easier to fix in here than it would have been in Blender. If that doesn't cause any weirdness doing it that way, then cool, problem solved. And if you guys are cool on occasion, watching me do this type of work, it's a hell of a lot easier for me to stream and do this kind of work than some of the other stuff. Ollie's been super tied up, so I haven't been able to check with him on getting this zone actually connected and running and everything up and going on the server. But that's definitely a goal. Basically, I want to get the zone lines set up, because what this is, for those of you that are new here, maybe we'll get a show of hands in a second of people that have never seen the stream before. But essentially, this is what I'm doing is I'm wanting to come in and I'm gonna try to really blaze on it this weekend. But what I want to do is get the rest of our zones blocked in like this, and so that way we can go from, and this will be a bad example just because we're not ready to merge and or separate these zones at the moment, but like I want to have everything in here so that we can go from like shaded dunes. Yep. All right, so shaded dunes right now when we're playing and stuff, if you watch some of the videos where we're playing, it's all in here. So it's shaded dunes and Night Harbor placeholder. But what I'm hoping to do is get it so that we've got shaded dunes, and even if we keep this for now, with Night Harbor attached, then the new Night Harbor. So, boom, that's here. The bulk of what you were just looking at will actually be on the other side of these hills for now. Right, so this is the work that Pattis has been getting in, and sometime soon I need to hop in maybe a huddle with you, Pattis, and we can start knocking out this here, and then so this was here, right? And so we were just in this zone over here, which is... Where am I at? Will it load? Cool. Yeah, I forgot that I recentered it. So then that's there, but I also deleted all the stuff that wasn't being used over here. And so, and in that last zone, we probably need to add, excuse me, this. And then we'll go here. And then we'll go from this fields zone where there's like farmland and fields and stuff and big quarry, and we'll get some other stuff in there. And then this will go into the glass flats, which will then take you up and either into Mugra Hills here or around through Dragon Run, or you continue north and then you'll run into the I keep wanting to call it the Shifting Sands, but it's the Whispering Dunes, up into the Whispering Dunes. So rough pass for distance field, yeah. So we can really start to get a sense of scale and whether or not it provides enough of a world sense. So hopefully no mistakes, like Unrest, where you have fun entrance tunnels. So you know what? There's probably going to be some stuff that's not perfectly aligned or whatever, right? But that's part of the charm, right? What types of zones will there be in the... What type of events will there be in the zone to mix up gameplay? We haven't sat down and like put anything firm in terms of like the actual events that are going to happen in this particular zone. This particular zone's relatively new for us. It was one that wasn't on the original list that we've added in just to help with add a bit of a transition and to also kind of put a little bit of a... a lot of times people will ask like, where does the city get its food and some other stuff, and so I thought it would be nice. Well, the other thing too is, so it's one to kind of root it a little bit, right, like in the world, but the other thing is I really like this idea of being able to get some green.
Hope you are having a good stream so far. Just tuning in myself.
Hey Regis, thank you very much for 2 months, and yeah, good stream so far. Just got started like 40 minutes ago. So I really like the idea of being able to get some like green around the river. I wanted a river here so bad, but then also, you know, a little bit of this, and then using like Iraqi orchards and fields to like the palm orchards and, or sorry, the date orchards. Why did I say palm? So anyways, just looking at some different inspiration here to get some green in and just kind of break things up a little bit, because we got so much desert going on and hills and stuff. So that's the thought here. Plus it allows us to have a little bit of thematic variance. So when you ask a question of like, what type of events, you know, the goblins in Mugra Hills are maybe coming down and raiding, or maybe some of the Ashira are coming in here for some reason, or maybe we've got, there's so much undead in this region that without a doubt that'll be our go-to for certain events. We've got interesting differences in origin for the undead, various undead, and so then on the other side, it could be that the giants have made their way over. We'll have to play with it in terms of like bigger world events. The trees are nice. Are they new? Yep. These are some Pattis placeholder trees. You made us some trees to play around with. Let me see something real quick. So art style wise, let me see if I can find it. Here, or maybe I'll go here, pictures, project in. So if we look here, like I've really liked this style. So the woman that we had doing some initial texture work for us, she painted some stuff. And so she doesn't, like, she really hasn't worked in games beyond doing, like, I would say, as far as I know, we were some of the, like, first requests for 3D texture work. But she's a painter, illustrator, and painter that I met at my last company. She did a lot of her promotional art. And so I've been a big fan of the stuff that she's done for us so far. And so you've seen this on some of the things that we have in game already. And so all of this is you know, stuff that she's painted. And so I want to find a way to kind of replicate that type of painting style with, you know, the stuff that we're doing. But it's not, I know it's not easy. Like, even the little grass that you see out in the world. So... So for me, when I look around at everything, I kind of picture that stuff. And we'll see. We'll see if that's where we end up. But the important thing is getting this first pass of everything. Get everything modeled and playable and cleaning. Today is Thursday again already. So fast. Wow. I like hanging out with you guys, but I also, on nights when I'm not streaming, I get an opportunity to hang out a little bit more with my wife, and that's always nice too. I'm a big fan of hanging out with my wife. She's pretty cool. Those evenings with the missus are a nice treat, especially as you get older. I just turned 47. Holy shit! I need to get some things done in life, guys. I don't know what it is, but I've really been feeling it. I've really been feeling it lately. Hey, Brex. I'm starting to feel old. Not like physically or anything really. But just like, man, running out of time to get shit done. Hey, Dram. Thought you were old and you're only 35? It goes fast. Tennis balls for my walker. I'll have you know that it's the weather's gotten good enough for me to actually take my ass out and go jogging again lately. $47? Damn, man. Almost 40. Definitely agree about the wife. Been married to my wife almost 20 years. Congrats. Fall asleep early and get up early like an old man. I fall asleep, you know. I probably wouldn't mind fallen asleep a little bit earlier. But I get up early because she's got to go to work. You're 50, it goes real fast. After a while, you move around and wonder what that popping... My knees pop so bad that Jasmine, she can't stand to listen to them. Like, when I'm doing squats or anything like that, it's so bad. My knees are just trashed. I can train with earbuds in, and if I I train with earbuds in, if I just have the earbuds in and nothing's playing, I can still hear them. So I've got to turn it up to keep from distracting myself. I think I cleaned most of this up now. I think we're clean. So with that in mind, I might go... Yoga time? Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna help necessarily. I can't remember if they popped as bad back when I was training jiu-jitsu regularly, but I'm pretty sure they did. And jiu-jitsu, when I was doing jiu-jitsu like regularly, when I was competing and stuff, I actually I also did yoga regularly. Yoga helped me a little bit early on with jiu-jitsu in terms of relaxing while getting smothered, controlling my breathing. But to me, jiu-jitsu is just partner-assisted yoga. You have gnarly hip pops, but you've had them since you were young, just because they're more frequent. Yeah, so I mean, I grew up doing... I've always been like a very active, kind of athletic kid. Grew up playing soccer, and then middle school started playing football, and then skateboarding, tons of skateboarding. Then high school played a couple more years of football while also skateboarding, and then got in the army, and then have always tried to stay kind of healthy, and my knees, especially like in the army, I was in the old guard in Washington DC, and so my job was basically to stand around for hours at a time without moving. So knees and ankles and stuff are kind of trashy. I'd love to be like macho and blame it on like airborne school or whatever, but I mean, we just, that was like 3 weeks of slow ass running and simulated jumping with 5 jump at the end, so that didn't really do anything. Bullet catcher, yeah, it was a very strict unit. It was, I look back on it, I'm like, man, I could have been so much better of a soldier. I could have gotten so much more out of that opportunity. But as a 19-year-old dumbass who wanted to be a ranger, got a ranger contract, what the recruiter said at least. All that meant was I got to go to airborne school, and then and in theory I would have gone to RIP afterwards. But my dad was getting ready to retire. He was an air assault instructor at the time. And so when I got selected to go to the old guard, I called him up and was like, hey, which one's better for my career? And so go be a ranger or go to old guard. He talked to his company commander. They got back to me. I was like, go to the old guard. It'll be good for you, and you'll enjoy DC and all that shit. And so ended up going there, but I mean, I can't complain, because if I had done all the high speed hoo-ah shit that I look back on and go, man, that would have been rad, then I wouldn't be here today probably. So can't complain, but I definitely look back at that time and go, I could have done more with that opportunity. I missed a spot. I have another question for you. Pattis, is it okay if I just call you Harrison? I always just want to call you, So Harrison, my question is, how do we link these seams here, because we have an inconsistent number of vertices, right? It's like I wondered about this in Blender as well. Like how do I ultimately connect these if it's inconsistent? Because this shit here is super inconsistent. Yep. Definitely a lot of standing tall and looking stone-faced. What'd you say, Nicodemus? When you put in a 16-hour day and your wife gives you those mischievous eyes heading to bed, and you look deep in her eyes and say, why don't we just lay here and hold each other and fall into a coma-like sleep? That's when you know you're old. I'm not that old. She's in the office next door. She knows what's up. Problem is, she's gotten older too. Excuse me? Any mischief eyes coming up, I'm handling business. But she's getting a bit older. She needs her sleep. You're laughing because you know it's true, lady. Oh, that's fine. We can snap. Yeah. I'll be curious. I'll be curious to see if that part ever fades. Much like my sense of humor and my interest in life, I've got the feeling I'll be 16 forever. Snap the one with more. So are you basically saying? So like start on one end and just kind of work over and then see how it lines up, or everything will be triangles eventually, so it's not an issue. Okay, it just, to me it feels sloppy. And honestly, I think we're gonna wind up having to replace like this whole area here, or we're gonna wind up replacing this whole area here anyway. I just want to make as few holes as possible. Excuse me, when we're playtesting, less shit to kind of fall through and be janky and have Nick like wanting to write bugs up. What do we do that? And then can I select this edge and like split it or something? If you hide the ocean, you can hold V down to snap them to the same coordinates. Alright, so I'm gonna hide the ocean. I don't know what you're talking about. But I'm gonna hide the ocean as step 1. Yeah. I merged all this stuff together. Hopefully that was okay. Yeah, I can do that. Hold on one second. I'm going to pause the music. How are you feeling, by the way? Don't hop into a huddle if you're sick. That's not good. All right. I hopped into a huddle.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. Yeah, you do sound sick. You shouldn't be doing this. You should be resting.
I'm fine. I'll survive for a couple minutes. So I would go.
Here, I'll take a cough drop for you.
Sorry, I haven't talked all day, so I might be coughing a little bit. But anyways, oh, I'm hearing myself. So I would back up where they're not the same object. That way we can like down res the other version of the terrain we're not going up against, or we're not using But what I would do is grab the individual vertice, hold down V, and then move it to the one you want to snap it to.
I see what you're saying. So the first part of your instructions have me confused now. You back it up so they're not merged. I merged the objects earlier today.
Oh, okay. I would.
You guys can't hear them? I've turned them up.
Can you guys hear me? Okay, I'll just talk a little bit closer. I would then, if they're already merged, what I would do is I would go like to a further back view, go to face mode, select all of those faces that you for the old terrain, and then there's a detach face that'll break it into its own mesh again.
Oh, geez. Does it? I merged these two, but so
Yeah.
keep these together, but split this one.
I would honestly, keep them all individual, like each zone is an individual one. The larger it is, the more issues I've noticed happening with Pro Builder when we're moving stuff around.
Okay.
And the Night Harbor one is already fairly dense. Well, in some areas it's not as dense, but what you would do is turn off the ocean and then just literally snap holding V. You can just move the vertices to a vertice of another mesh. And the way that the terrain is done, it's using world coordinates, so you won't see like a texture scene as long as there's the same texture there.
I partially understand what you're saying. So first off, yeah, I deleted everything that was over here before in this new map. And then if I understand you correctly, so the first thing that we do is
Oops, sorry, my phone's on.
That's fine. Mountains. We'll get rid of them too.
The one you could probably get away with doing it with the mountains. The reason I turn off the ocean is because the ocean itself is made up of so many vertices, so it can like have waves that it's almost impossible to get it to snap to anything when you see it. Because it will snap to the closest vertice that is like visually in that direction. And since the water runs under everything, it just will randomly snap off into the distance, like super far away.
But
from where you want
to split these meshes up.
Oh, go to you're in face mode. Scroll back and get to an angle that you can do like a marquee selection. So just click and drag across the terrain for Night Harbor, and then you just hit detach. So I would rotate. Or you can do it right here too. Yeah, rotate, grab those. And you may end up grabbing a couple extra that you're going to have to like control click away. But yeah, just like that. That's perfect. And then over in the Pro Builder, there should be detached faces.
But I noticed like it's not grabbed this stuff.
That stuff is not attached to it right now. I was running into an issue, so I already detached those. They're if I could speak. They are already their own mesh. Unless you merge them back in.
Probably didn't. I was too busy just deleting everything.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like it's just the terrain.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab these again. Cool, I've got them.
And then do your marquee selection. There you go. And then detach faces over in the Pro Builder tools. It's one of the red buttons. Hit the plus to look at the little option box for it. It's down. Yeah, right there. Hit the little plus on it. I want to see I can't remember what the option box is. Oh, never mind. It worked. You're good.
Yep. All right, so now we got this guy. We got that guy.
Yep. Yeah. I wanted to make sure separate objects is the one that you wanted on.
Okay, but now when we look at these, you said to split this up as well again.
Yeah, I would do that because what we can do is we can just down res the resolution of the texture, since we're not going to be running around in that space. It'll just make it more efficient.
All right, so we'll do
And then it's just making sure the seams are snapped together.
This is a great opportunity for me to complain about the lack of the
This like paint
the
select.
paint select again.
Yeah, I seriously wish they had paint select in this. That and the ability to delete edge loops would be awesome, because you can't delete edge loops. You have to merge them down.
You'll see in a second.
Oh no.
As soon as I saw that wheel spinning, like when I like, I feel like I skimmed across the gizmo or whatever. As soon as that wheel spun, I was like, "Oh, you're gonna crash, aren't you, son of a bitch? You're gonna crash." I didn't expect it to crash that cleanly, though. That was very clean for Unity. Pattis, you sound like shit. Go to bed, said Keith.
Yeah, I need to get going anyway. So my son, I need to grab my son from the bus. But yeah, that's how I would do it. I'd break them into individuals and then turn off the ocean when you want to snap, and then just hit V to snap the one with more vertices onto the one with less, and then merge them down if you snap two vertices to the same spot.
That last part, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but go take care of yourself. Get your son. We'll figure it out.
All right, talk to you guys later.
Feel better. Oh man. He sounded so bad, I feel sick. Harrison's sick. Ugh. I'm gonna take some extra zinc today. He sounded so bad, I need some extra zinc. What in the world? I hear a random saxophone. I've just turned off the sound to you guys just until I can figure out what the hell is going on. I'm like, I want to make sure that, you know, that way I don't get any weird like mutes or anything on here. Where's the saxophone coming from? No, there's a phantom saxophone. None of my other tabs are showing music. So it should just be Deep Dune's soundtrack right now. Sax music? The wife sending you hints? Oh, I'm still in the huddle. That's what I was like. I know that music from somewhere. I'm still in the huddle. It's Slack letting me know that I'm still in the huddle. You sure that was Zinc? Slack's elevator music. Watch, I'll get a DMCA strike or whatever for it. Excuse me. Okay. No, we got our music going again. Professional operation I'm running here. Sakaj, I am not getting a lot of Unity crashes lately. Well, that's not true. I get Unity crashes if I just leave the editor open overnight. But really I haven't been getting random crashes while working. I've found the best way to avoid getting any Unity crashes while working is just not to do any work. So I've been pretty fortunate on that front. But now that I'm doing work again, is that the Mandrake City theme song? Saxophones? Don't let us forget, that may have to be a thing. The Mandrake City's got saxophone music. Oh man, that would be so good. What you like about Unity is that it hardly ever crashes on you. Unreal was the opposite. Yeah, I mean, I know members of the team like Unreal. I spent 5 years in Unreal when I was working on DC Universe Online, because it was Unreal 2.5 transitioning to 3, I think. And we were actually part of like a effort to help make Unreal a more MMO friendly engine at the time, because back then the only people using Unreal 2.5 or whatever we are at for MMOs was us at Sony. We had 2 MMOs. So it was us and the agency, DC and the agency, and then we had a independent Unreal Engine team within Sony that was going to like maintain the engine and all that stuff. And then the only other game that I know of that was using it was a game called Huxley from Webzen. I don't think Lineage 2 was. I could be wrong, BDC Retro and Keith. I could be wrong on that. But at the time, I could have sworn that was the story. So if it wasn't, maybe it wasn't 2.5, maybe it was 3 then? All I know is the shit that we talked within the company. That may or may not be true. But I do remember it being like a big deal for Sony because we had and again, it could be that Lineage and Vanguard and others were doing it as well. And for whatever reason, either we weren't discussing it or it wasn't getting hyped, or maybe we were just high on our own supply within the company. But I remember it got turned into a big deal, and there was like a central tech group that was maintaining it. And then the agency team was doing some modifications, and those guys were pulling it. And then, like, we were doing stuff, and they were pulling it. And it turned into this massive coordination effort where we wound up, nobody was using anybody else's stuff. So, yeah, you guys may be right. BDC, that was kind of what we ran into as well. Like, by the time we got done gutting everything that we weren't going to use for the MMO, it wound up basically just being a renderer. When we first started with it, it was great because I could get in and use Kismet and Matinee and mock stuff up and do all sorts of fun things and make smoke and mirrors like demos where I just hand manipulated all the animations and stuff in Matinee. And then at some point, all of that got nuked when we basically started making it more MMO ready. And it just wound up being like, in terms of design tools, it was just such a giant pain in the ass for us, on the DC team at least. But yeah, that's a good point. I've been telling this story for years as if it was just us and and Huxley. But it would make sense that, I don't know about Lineage 2, but it would make sense then that Vanguard was using it. I don't know. Have to ask one of the old tech guys what the story was, because it could be I've got half the story right. By the way, the point of the story is, wasn't necessarily my favorite experience for the first year. It was cool. The first, whatever, 8 months it was cool, but then the rest is. Wonder, is there a list of, let's look up Huxley and see what it was using. Webson Huxley. I'm looking it up now. If you guys find it before me. Unreal 3. Okay, so we were using Unreal 3. That's why we were cool. Let me see. DC. Watch, it'll be like, and DC Universe was using 2.5. Shawn, stop telling the wrong fucking story. Universe Online. I realized earlier today that I'll probably end up cursing a little bit more on stream, but I want you guys to not curse. Yeah, Unreal 3. That's the story. Now I have my story straight. I was like, I knew we were special, right? But you always feel like you're special, and then you realize that you're not. Jeez, how many episodes do they have? They've released a lot of content over the last decade. So, engine, Unreal 3 for DC Universe. And then Huxley, Web, then engine, Unreal 3. Okay. So we were the only two MMOs using Unreal 3 at the time. Story, fixed. And if you sons of guns find another damn MMO that was using Unreal 3 at the time and ruin my story one more time, you're all fired. Listen, I've streamed to no people before in my life. I'll do it again. Is this resume interrogation day? You don't want to. All right, so Harrison had me do something. They had me do something down here. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Got all these. What the frick? I don't see it anymore. Alright, detach faces. Separate game object. Alright, detach faces. Your face has been detached. Nice. Sounds horrific. Here, I thought I was doing a good thing by attaching all of this shit earlier today. Dada's like, no, my face. It's okay. You get your face back. I give it to you. I was starting to panic, guys. I was like, have I been lying all these years about being a very special MMO team that was doing some high-tech shit for the first time with Epic? Have I been falsifying information? Nope, I just... and I swear I used to tell the story as if it was Unreal 3, but then that sounded too fancy, so I dumbed it down to 2.5. 2.5. There's Shawn again, telling that story. Yeah, I've got some stories that sound made up, but I swear they're not. It's just what happens when you move to Alabama as a teenager. Shit gets weird. Alright, detach faces again. Alright. Now let's hit save. What did you just do? Unity? Did someone tell you to just lose your textures? What is this for shit? Well, that was not as intended. Oh, it's just got the wrong texture on it. Dothan hasn't changed much over the years. Good fishing, you follow those still. Nicodemus, I have forgotten. Did I know that you were from Dothan? If you said you're 50, and you're from Dothan. Do we know each other in real life? You got a mental image of the Mandrake as that sexy sax man meme. Oh man, that's perfect. Near Columbus, Benning. I went to summer camp, infantry summer camp in Fort Benning, and airborne school at Fort Benning. But I lived in Dothan, Alabama. Peanut capital of the world, according to Dothan, Alabama. But I've been through Columbus a few times. Alright, so I don't know what, I'm not quite sure what Harrison was talking about with the V, doing the thing with the V here. I don't know what that's about. Boiled peanut. Kalidar, are you from Dothan as well? Damn, boiled peanuts sound good right now. Oh my god. Jasmine has not had boiled peanuts. You can get them in a can, Jasmine. You can get a can of boiled peanuts. It sounds awful. You say that until you've had boiled peanuts, let alone if we're drinking. They're soft and they don't taste like peanuts. I don't know what they taste like other than boiled peanuts, and they're salty. Man. Hold V and move the vertex towards the one you want to snap to, but you need to be in vertex mode. But you're saying across dimensions here, right? These are two different objects. The reason why I merged the objects was because it seemed like it would make sense to have them be one object if I'm going to be snapping verts together. Really? We can do this across dimensions. You would know probably. Can you get boiled peanuts in Sweden? It sounds intriguingly odd. I don't know that we looked. I did have a couple pickleback while we were in Sweden weekend before last, and that was nice. It only works with 2 different meshes. That is the weirdest thing ever. Kettle boiled peanuts are the best. Yeah, like boiled peanuts, in all seriousness, really good. Honestly, I should just make some at home. You can make them at home. It's not that crazy. You take peanuts and you boil them. In the shell. You don't like want some soupy little legumes running around. Alright, so I've got these 2 selected. I'm gonna get in close so we can look at it. Yeah, they're more like beans. Well, isn't a peanut a bean? It's a legume, right? Nope, just the one you want to move. I honestly don't know what you're trying to explain to me. You thought peanuts were a nut? I don't believe so. I feel bad for people that watch like just the YouTube video of this or whatever. With chat on there, if you squint really hard, maybe you can see the chat on the screen. And they're like, why is this guy not just making a video game? Instead he's Googling peanut. Peanuts are not sandwiches. Peanuts go on sandwiches. Peanuts, the comic strip. No, that's not what we're looking for. Peanut allergy. We brought that on ourselves. It is classified both as a grain legume and due to its high oil content, an oil crop. But it is the peanut, Arachis hypochondria, also known as the ground nut, the goober, thus goober grape, pindar, monkey nut in the UK. Alright guys, calm down. Is a legume crop grown mainly for its edible seed. Arachnid hypochondriac. That's gotta be a monster in game. I would click the corner vert that is part of the new one and move it towards Night Harbor meshes vert. Okay, so... And then, so you click it, and then you hit V. Oh shit, I see what it did. I didn't think it was going to do what it did, but it did. Problem is I can't see where the other place is that I would want to click. There, I guess? Alright, we're gonna go with it. We're gonna go with the flow. Well, geez. I kind of feel like I should just subdivide these a bit more. Alright, we just broke it. Freaking gizmos in the way. So, Harrison, you said all the inconsistency and weirdness that's going on right now with this. Well, that breaks it. Is fine. Like when it starts looking all janky and stuff like this, just because we're going to triangulate it anyways. Don't subdivide the sun. I don't know that subdividing the sun would make the world darker. Lada Rin, where does your name come from? Because whenever I think of your name, I think of the car, the Lada car. Which is like a Eastern European or a Russian vehicle? Name comes from an old Star Wars character. She was a smuggler. Is that from the books? I'm not the most up on Star Wars. Funny now that you say that, now it seems familiar. Yeah, Nicodemus. Do subdivisions increase the size of the map? Oh, your old Star Wars character. She was a smuggler. Okay. I swear I pay better attention in real life. This is only a problem when I'm streaming. My wife's not listening, otherwise she would dispute that fact. You just didn't want to interrupt? Okay, well, you should keep not interrupting, babe. She was your introduction to role-playing MMOs? Well, that's cool. Cool. All right. So I've stitched that together in theory. Now, the interesting thing is if I grab one of these verts and I move it. Huh. Okay. So let's see. Let's go to Pro Builder. Oh, it doesn't actually say. So all this is doing is putting them in like perfect alignment. That's strictly aligning them, but it's not actually welding them or anything. That makes sense. Which issue are you having, Keith? Yeah, alright. Yeah, so they're not really combined. They're not merged in the traditional sense. I thought it was merging them, but they're not merged. It's just aligning them so that we don't notice a gap. Ooh, let me come fix this shit. Oh yeah, because I crashed at some point. Let me hit save again. That reminds me, Goblin was working on something. Because Goblin's Photoshop kept crashing on him. And he had been working on something one day when we were watching him stream for a while, and I was just like, he was like getting towards the end of the stream. I'm like, Goblin, when was the last time you hit save? Calidor asked, when you're building a zone like this, how do you keep a feel for how big the zone will feel once you're in game? Do you just have to get in there and run around in it and feel it out? Yeah, a little bit. And so it becomes, over time, it becomes more of a situation of things become referential. So the scale for this zone's based loosely on what I was looking at when we were looking at the scale over here. So it kind of translates out, but what's going to wind up happening is we're going to get in and use this to get that feel. And so it's not going to happen tonight because I think there's some stuff that needs to get pushed to the server as well. But my mission for this weekend is to get these placeholder zones up, so that and by up I mean on the server, so that we can, you know, we can run around and really get a feel for not just this zone but like the overall region. Because it's very possible we get in here and it's like, oh shit, you know, it just feels off. And it feels off for the purpose. So, are you guys going to use Unity terrain at some point? Keith? Unless I'm mistaken, I'm gonna say no. But Harrison, let me know if I'm speaking garbage. The goal is for all of our terrain to have like this feel. Yeah, we're making all our own assets with the exception of just some very rare kind of thing where we're like, we know we're only have this in for a minute. It's obvious placeholder like our UI. And then we know that it looks obviously placeholder. And then so this water is an asset that John had used before. It allows us to modify the, you know, it's essentially a shader that's easy to modify and stuff. So that is purchased, but basically we've just made everything ourselves. Yeah, so Keith, you were here Tuesday, right? Have you seen the other train and stuff? What I was looking for real quick was just to hop into... So hit save. I'll do this real fast. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure where exactly where we're gonna land on the UI, Lotta, but I do like some of the stuff that I saw on Goblin's portfolio for another game that he worked on. That was pretty cool, but that'll be another one of those areas where we'll just have to start and iterate and kind of see how we like things. Zone. Keep it simple? Yeah, for sure. What time is it? 1 a.m. Alright, so... As long as I can resize your massive cat boxes. Yeah, it'll be nice when I can resize these as well, and I think part of it's just the resolution that I play at. But yeah, so for those of you that had questions about like scale and getting a feel for scale, and a bit of it is just coming in and moving around. We'll play around with the various move speeds so we know what it feels like at max move speed versus base. That'll give us some understanding of mounts as well. In terms of style, I'm a fan of this blocky sort of chunky style, so that's what we'll be shooting for. Oh, sorry about that, Fleet. Um, let's see. On the UI thing, please make chat filters more customizable. System messages and all that being kind of a catch-all for weird things in EQ. Make specific chat boxes for specific things frustrating at times. Kinster, great point. We want to do so much with text in the game as well that chat boxes are going to be treated with as much importance as any other aspect of gameplay. So. Puffin Cloud, yes, and welcome. Not very much though. Years and years and years ago, when I was, oh, that T-pose is better than what I was doing before. So that's nice. I like that casual T-pose. Years and years and years ago, and then most recently, and I need to get back in it, I started playing Genesis Mud. Which only spent a few hours in Genesis Mud, but I really want to get back in. I was enjoying that. I love their website. I think that's what it is. Let me. This. .code. Thank you for the follow. So, big fan of this so far. But for those of you that haven't been here before, or maybe forgot or didn't hear when we were doing things in the past, so like if you look at this, it's covered by chat. Anyways, this look button, essentially, we've got the ability for you to interact with objects in game in very much the same way you would have like a conversation with NPC. It's all text based, and you can utilize items, and so you can not only look into the barrel, but if you see a loose plank, you can pry it using, you know, an item that is flagged as being something that you could pry with. And in prying off the plank, you may see a keyhole, and then you can use the key or inspect the keyhole, and it may give you a description of it. And then you could try to use various keys on it. It may be a button, that kind of thing. So. Yeah, so let me fly around for a second and show you guys who have never seen this before. Because I forget there's new people sometimes, right? So. Oh, I got a casting animation. Good job. Fly on. So this is very much the old placeholder city that we had created over the last year, and that's getting replaced by the work that Harrison's doing. And so if you look way over here, there's an undead fire. So we've got some ruins over here that we've been playing with. Hey, Monty. Dungeon. Over here is the one that we've been playtesting in. And then, yeah, there's a spire there. So. Alright, so now we're going to... So this is the old city. This is Shaded Dunes. So then we'll zone into Night Harbor. So for this Night Harbor zone, we've extended the newbie yard a bit. Still think it may be a little bit too big. We need to put some features in here, make it more than just a box. And then what we would do is beyond there, we would put that Shaded Dune zone that we were just in, and then keep this new city. And so here's the city. Lots going on in here, lots to do in here. So we'll be syncing these up at a later date. And then the zone that I started in.
I kinda wish that path was painted in.
Hey, Ollie. Well, I think it'll eventually be painted in. Will working boats be in the game for transport? Kaladar, we had working boats, and then Ollie was not happy with them. And then we no longer have boats. So, the boats were pretty great. One night, Nick accidentally attacked a boat. The boat killed Nick. That was pretty good. Well, it is dark AF. Alright, and now... Zone. Dunes. Then we've got underground zones that are essentially, they're similar to outdoor zones. So our deep realm will have an underworld throughout the continent. So you'll be able to traverse between zones under the zones as well, and there'll be dungeons that you can find in the deep realm and other camps and things of that nature. So this zone currently connects Night Harbor, Shaded Dunes, and Death Valley. So Ollie said that he broke the zone broke the boats and then took them out, and that his culture is deeply rooted in boats. If they're not amazing, they will get refactored. Yes, Ollie lives on a desert island. Not even making that up. Ollie is a farmer on a desert island, which makes him a fairly exceptional farmer. All right, and so then we've got this zone over here, which I'm gonna double the size of, but now that I know that I should keep the meshes separate, I'll probably double the size in a different way than I planned. Sand boats, wind riders. Sand boats would be cool. Sky boats will be neat. Uh-oh. I need to probably fix something in here if it's doing this. True story, I faked sick one day in middle school to stay home and play EQ. Early in the morning, I took a boat ride, ended up disconnecting, ended up in the ocean, scared for my life. I think I was like level 14, spent hours trying to swim somewhere and not get killed. Wasted your sick day. But that's such a great EverQuest story. Ended up finding islands with people farming Cyclops and let me hang out and loot a few. Ended up cool. Nice. That's a wonderful story. All right. So enough randomly zooming around. Let's get back to work. Ollie, I have questions. Maybe since you're here, if you're going to be around for a moment, you could maybe help me do this for the first time. There was an old first edition D&D module written by Tracy Hickman, which had boats that rode over seas of glass. Oh shit, now I want to look that up. Sounds like a deal, Monty. Group said, I love the idea of an ultravision for races from the deep, as well as ultravision making everything blown out on the surface during the day. Just like surface races need a torch, and deep they need something to see normally. We're going to play with that idea. Ollie, are you still there? Found it? Is Tomb of Martek? Okay. Let me look that up and see if I've got access. Lost Tomb of Martek. Man, I used to get so hyped getting my hands on a new module. My brain would just, as a kid, explode into imagination space. I swear, I probably spent 20 times as much time just reading modules and daydreaming than I did actually playing the game. The Lost Tomb of Martek. Yeah, I got it. Got it up. Okay. I think Ollie's already run away. I'm gonna have to bug him this weekend. It's late there. It's like midnight where he's at. Alright, so was this relatively fixed? I think we cleaned this up. Ollie's looking at ships on Google now. Maybe. Alright, so this is good. Basically what I need Ollie's help for is I'll clean this seam up while we're hanging out here. That way it's productive but also kinda chill. I just need Ollie's help in getting all this stuff working properly on the server. Oops. Oh, I see what's going on with that water. Let me turn that back off. Man, I'm dreading getting sick. I haven't been sick in 2 years. I am dreading getting sick. Well, that's not true. I think I cleaned the house one day and got kind of sinusy. That's been the worst of it in 2 years. When I'm cleaning the house, I get a little dusty, and that's about it. So I've started wearing, because I've got boxes of M95 masks from back when we thought the world was going to end, initially in Sweden. So I just when I'm doing a lot of heavy dusting and cleaning in the house, I just throw on my M95. Monty said, I'm writing some shaders in Unity right now for my terrain, layers materials based on slope angle, and a few other things. I'm not sophisticated enough to know what that even means, Monty. You're too knowledgeable for me. N95 masks were like gold for a while. That's why I got 2 boxes of them in February of 2020. And everybody thought I was a goofball. But I actually mailed some to my buddy who is stuck in Barcelona, and they were like on hard lockdown at the time. He's like, I can't. He's kind of worried, and he's like, he couldn't get a hold of anything. Blah blah blah. I sent him a care package from Sweden of masks, sanitizer, all sorts of stuff. Taking care of my friend. Okay, so because my thought was they're probably not going to save us, but they may be good as currency if we get all Mad Max. There's masks, whiskey, coffee. Okay. So like you have a hill and it has a slope. The steeper the slope, the more cliff texture comes through it. That sounds badass. You stockpile bottle cap? We've started a bottle cap collection as a joke. Figure between cryptocurrency, bottle cap, gold, coffee, arrows. I have a lot of arrows. We should be able to barter. Is group play going to be incentivized over solo play in M&M, like TLPs, or solo play over group play? Solo play over group play in original EQ P99, or both equally incentivized? You feel that, Fisher, you feel like solo play is incentivized? In terms of XP penalties and bonuses and stuff, or? Yeah, I was about to say. Because I feel like group play was incentivized for, well, most classes at least. So our intent is to incentivize group play. Group play should be optimal. And it doesn't need to be a full group. But we want to get you folks at least duoing whenever possible. That's the intent. That said, the idea of just making you so that there's zero progress that you can make when you're solo, that's not fun either. So. Lotta, see you. In a while, crocodile. Never really understood the hybrid XP penalty though. I wish I could ask an OG EQ dev about the rationale behind it. I could have sworn we asked somebody like GZ or something, and I can't remember if there was like a real logic to it, or if it was like a weird association with like old sort of tabletop RPG like multi-class penalties. But I don't have a clean answer for you. On TLPs, they specifically nerfed solo XP, so everybody would try group instead, or maybe it was so that you would buy an XP potion, which I know I did. I spent a lot of money on XP potions. If you remember correctly, the belief was that hybrids would be stronger than non-hybrids because the tools they had at their disposal. Everyone knows that is patently false, and I believe that's why they removed them in Belgium. Yep. I think that's what I was implying with the sort of the thought about treating them as like multi-class. Bigger toolkit, more powerful, must be penalized. Alright, so those are all done. And let's turn the water back on. Cool. Alright. So, we made a little bit of progress this evening. We'll just leave this the way it is for now. So the idea here will be, I'm not quite sure exactly what we want to do here. We need to sit with Ham and Harrison and talk about what's going on in this area. What I was picturing is essentially a transition from the city theme into the farming theme. But maybe do something where it feels like the question really is going to be, because it's going to be a newbie art, have it be something that feels a bit more structured. I just put this here to sort of denote zone, like a zone line, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a wall. I know Ham, when he saw it, he wasn't as into there being a wall here. I don't necessarily picture it needing to be as fortified looking as this, as much as maybe it's just kind of like a small wall with a, gate. And then yeah, it can either be some amount of caravan, or a more structured, like we're to take these guys. Here, let's see if we can get all of them. I was picturing like maybe a more structured, not you. Yeah, it could be some outer ruins. Ruins never hurt, right? You don't necessarily go wrong with ruins in newbie art. So maybe a little bit of ruins on the sides here with like a more structured sort of lane that kind of comes through here, and palm tree or palm trees or date trees or whatever going around, not all lined up like this, but basically kind of come through here. I don't know. Ham's very creative. We'll come up with something here, and then I'll transition into the farmland. So 300 gnomes fending off whatever's outside the gate. That's a lot of gnome. Hold on 1 sec. I'm gonna respond to Nick. So the I'm telling Nick right now that I set the newsletter to fire off at 7 p.m. Eastern per their automated recommendation in mail. Yeah. Apparently, mail camp think that the ideal time to send it. Let's see if they're right. So, but yeah, so maybe something that's kicks off the more gardeny, greener theme here. We'll have some ruins, maybe some ruins and like some weeds or something. Yeah, I was thinking just like rock fence or something like that, but this is just meant to denote that. We could also, I don't know, we could already have some livestock or something out here. Basically, don't get too caught up on this thing right here. This is just super placeholder, as is most of this, if not all of this. So, oh, let me fix this. Then I'll get with Ham. I don't know, maybe over the weekend, maybe on Monday or Tuesday, and we'll see what we can do here. Fiction wise, he mentioned wanting a quarry. So quarry's already been sort of dug out. We'll go over there in a second. So I started here with the quarry. Play with that a little bit more. I'm excited to get in here and look at the scale. So I have to get with Ollie and look at, basically make sure everything's set up properly so that we can have it running on the server. A gnome Spartan. I could see a gnome in a little Spartan outfit. It'd be pretty tight. Monty, are you still out there? This is Eminem. Kicks a mandrake into a pit. Oh, that's sad. The more you guys mess around with mandrakes, the more I'm like, they seem lovable to me. I mean, they've always seemed kind of like lovable, but a bit murdery. But more and more, I'm just thinking they're lovable. Nicodemus, your mandrake nest was good though. If you folks have not checked it out, get on our Discord and check out the community section, you'll see some wonderful art by Nicodemus, including some Mandrake related art. Click, 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 click. Click, click, click. Clicking's fun though. Let's see. Alright. 10:04 now. Cool, we still have a few minutes. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what Ham was thinking with the quarry here, but I think it may involve some dwarves working for Night Harbor. Night Harbor is a fairly cosmopolitan place. Mandrake would make a great druid pet. A Mandrake would make a great druid friend. Is it possible to have events like water levels changing? Anything is possible. The question is, how easy is it? I wouldn't be shocked if it's not super hard to pull off. Yeah. Messy OG. Thank you for the follow. Oh, imagine a sunken temple, which water levels changes water levels, Zelda style. I know, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it'd be interesting. So for that, we would need to not only change the visual, but we would need to change our water volumes. I'm assuming. I wonder how that would work. I wonder what the water volumes look like on the server. Again, all of it's doable. The question is just bang for the buck. Mandrake Necro Tubermancer. What? I respect the effort, Nicodemus. That was good. I'm okay with that. Mandrake's the root of all evil. Oh my goodness. Alright, so the quarry started. I've got the feeling this is going to be plenty enough zone over here, but we'll see. We'll see once we get in it. What if people saw Mandrake and thought playable onion, but reality just dragon person? Nope. Playable onion. Excuse me. Everybody talking about being sick has made my throat very itchy. We may expand this, or at least move it a bit. May expand this like farmland area, lowland farm area. Maybe have a couple additional plateaus here. What are those layers called? Like, is there a technical name for the layers of land? Like, if you see like a rice paddy or something. How big is a player? Can you drop one in? Even if I drop one in, it's not going to help much. But here's, I put this structure in here. Paris, yes. I mean, and what I can do is, just for giggles, we'll come over here. Wait. I was like, why am I selecting every face? Oh, because I'm in face select. That's probably it. What we'll do is we'll move one of these down there as well. Thanks, Keith. You can always say something. It's better to say something than to not. I don't embarrass easily on that front. I say now, but it's probably not true. Alright. Maybe steal some more. Alright, that was so easy. Alright, Control D. Oop. I didn't want to do that either. I guess it was. Oh shit, that. No. That's what I wanted to do. Oh, right. It would have just been faster to do it the non-fancy way. If any of you are Unity power users, I'm gonna place the object where I was looking. Alright, so if we take this here, move it here. So, size-wise, you can kind of see we've got So got a little bit of room there. The goal was basically, instead of going, because like I said, this zone's new. It wasn't on our original list. Instead of going straight from the newbie yard into the glass flat, excuse me, it felt like we needed at least one buffer zone here. And then we go into this next bigger zone. The next zone's probably going to be even bigger. Because I know we've got at least one big point of interest that we're going to be putting in here. So deeper in the zone, in the more northern part of the zone, there'll be a crashed floating citadel. So if you have seen like that floating island over, kind of if you're looking north in Death Valley, to the east, there's a floating citadel, or at least a placeholder for it. And there'll be a crash one of those in the glass flat. What I'll do is while I'm in here, I'll go ahead and start to pull things up a bit, and then bring them down, because the glass flats are in like a basin. So the whole thing will be sunk down a bit, and then we'll build up essentially this wall here where the river is kind of going through a bit of a gorge. So it won't look like it for a while, but you'll have to put your imagination hats on and just kind of pretend along with me. We'd be mixing some zones in terms of having camps for low-level players and some high-level players. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. You're probably going to see that in almost every zone, to be honest with you. I think where all of us are on board with that idea. We really like that idea of just having that sort of mix. Even in something like the Tomb of the Last Wormsbane, if we expand that dungeon a little bit, which I think ultimately we will want to, but I love the idea of not only mixing in different level camps, but also having sort of that sketchy zone sweeper type roamer, that people are terrified of. I mean, if you look at Befallen's relatively low level, right? Befallen's what? Pre-teens? Low teens? And then you got Gynox that spawns in there, and I mean, he's no slouch. I could have sworn you have to be like low 20s to be able to kill him, right? Oh, he's 25. Yeah. High elf at the bottom. I honestly don't remember that one. Elf skeleton. Yeah, so it's stuff like that I dig it. Now, outdoor zones, it's even better and even easier to have like those scary roamers and mixing up the camps and stuff. So we'll do that for sure. Yeah, Crushbone is definitely a good one. I camped them with my cleric on TLP on Aradune, but Gynox that is, but But I forget what level I was. I think I was a bit overpowered for him. It was mainly just the weight. It was the weight that was rough. Cool. One of the things I noticed on these guys was that since maybe, I don't know, was it what might have happened with these pieces here, because I think Harrison said these were the ones that I made originally, or did he say that they're the ones he whipped together quickly? Either way, there's no, it looks like all the faces on the other side got deleted, and so because of that, the sun blasts right through them and it leaves a weird shadow. So we'll want to fix that, or not, and just build the new pieces and see how that looks. All right, so we'll take this guy, Control D. Nope. D. Object mode, Control D. And we'll just move this boundary out and start to shape this next zone as well. Do you think Black Barrel was your favorite zone? It was definitely a solid zone. That was because I started in Kanos with my first character, and so that was my first like legit oh shit dungeons are scary kind of experience. Fall down the tree trap and panic, cry for help. Took that whole you'll lose your corpse thing pretty seriously back in the day. Like, oh no, I don't want to lose my corpse. Oh man, I don't want to lose it. It's gonna rot. It's gonna be down there forever. I can't get it. Please, somebody help me. Any of you super awesome, ultra high level 15s. I was just a nosy newbie, and now my corpse is at the bottom of the dungeon. Definitely want to be able to recreate those types of experiences for people. There's a whole new generation of kids playing their Minecraft and their Fortnite and shit like that, and it'd be great to get some of those in and have them lose a corpse at the bottom of a hole and panic. Please, misters. Please help me get my corpse. I was never able to be one of those people who logged off without looting your corpse. Yep, I feel you. I've invested literally hours into this character. Oh my god. I don't know what I would do if I lost that time. Little did we know. Definitely one of those kids who cried when I couldn't get my corpse back. I was definitely one of those adults that cried when I couldn't get my corpse back, so don't feel bad. And the funny thing is, when I was playing EverQuest, it was when we had the skate park. And so like my friends and family, they had no concept of what it was that I was doing with my time. They're like, what the hell is wrong with you? You wanted to see Nagafin on your cleric when you were 12, made it to the fire giant room, which didn't have fire giants at the time, so I don't know. I didn't know there were fire giants there. Found myself so I could get back there to always sneak a peek at Nagy. Well, then I get it back and all the fire giants were up and got caught in a death cycle. Oh, that's sad. Stoic. Pythagore, your halfling died. You got to stop saying hobbit, Duke, and you've got a hobbit habit. J.R.R. Tolkien's family is gonna zoom in like a flying monkey. You're gonna be upset. Alright, so maybe we'll pull some of this up and then we'll oops. I need to have a conversation with Hamad about this and kind of see what we're thinking aesthetically. Right now it's just kind of a straight line as well. We'll wanna change that. Yeah, so we have this little chat box over here. It's basically over here. We'll see if that even shows up on YouTube. I need to get a better chat box solution in place for YouTubers to watch. Let's see, you guys are talking about favorite zone. Kinster said, I learned as an adult that at one point my dad died somewhere, maybe fear? The night before he had to go to the field. It was like 1 a.m. They had to leave at 5 a.m. So he just decided to go to bed. Never got that corpse back. Had to re-kit himself with stuff that he kept in his bank. Crash items, guildies had in their bank. Oh man, your dad was in the military and had to go to the field? That sucks. Because I'm assuming that's minimum a week. Probably 2 weeks. At least. Favorite zone was actually Wrath Mountains. Always thought the giants in EQ were super cool. Hill giants for the win. And, you know, giant skeletons are also pretty cool. And cyclopses. Tower of Frozen Shadow, definitely good. Oh, you're only 10 or 11? That's a common age for folks in here. A lot of people were, 10, 11, 12 when their parents were playing EQ. Had I seen EverQuest as a kid, yeah, my brain would have melted. I had to... When you guys tell me you're like, oh, as a, you know, kid or a teenager, I don't know what I would have done with my life if EQ had been around when I was a kid. I was just amped to be able to play like Bard's Tale and Wizardry and Zelda and shit like that. It's crazy that people were actually able to play EQ in a store back then. Kaladar said, I vividly remember hitting level 9 and casting my first spell on my paladin and feeling like I was actually casting spells IRL. That's beautiful. That's how you got into it? How I convinced my parents to pay for a sub? I don't know. I don't know, man. You know, I know it was kind of weird to do that back in the day, but for the amount of entertainment that you got, 12 bucks? Or no, it was only 9 bucks initially, right? Or was it even cheaper than that? I thought it was like $9.89, and then it got bumped up. Exactly. When we had the skateboard park, which was the same time that EQ came out, Well, it came out 99. We had the skate park when I got out of the army in 97. So 97, 98, and then 99 is when I discovered EQ and decided we needed to sell the skate park and I needed to move to California. So, but yeah, people would drop their kids off because we were only charging $5 a day for the skate park, and we wound up becoming like $5 a day daycare in Alabama. And people wouldn't even pick up their kids. We had to like pack our, car, Volkswagen bus full of kids at the end of the night and drop them off places because their parents wouldn't even pick them up. It was so crazy. Freaking parents, man. Kinster prefers wide open zones like piranhas. I dig it. Yeah, I can tell that story. It's 10:30 now, so we've got enough time, especially since I've kind of wound down over here. I'll tell that story for those of you that have heard it before. Apologies. But so the story of packing up and moving to California. Essentially, we'd had a skateboard park for a couple years. And honestly, we didn't really know what we were doing business-wise. It was kind of a family business. And so learned a lot on what not to do with financing and businesses and all of that stuff. Anyway, done it a couple years, and it was kind of, it's just kind of hobbling along. The skate park was in my early mid-20s, I think. Because I joined the army at 19, spent 3 years in, so came out, I was like 21 or whatever, and moved back home straight into the skate park. I'd actually started working on the skate park while I was still in the army in DC. I started researching it and then mailing my parents like diagrams and calling them, and a friend of mine who's a skateboarder as well was helping them get stuff set up. And so I'd sketch out fun boxes and ramps and stuff and send it to them. And I had basically done all my research on opening the skate park by calling other skate parks while I lived in DC. I would just read Trans World magazine and just go down the list of skate parks that had phone numbers and call them up and be like, hey, I want to make a skate park. What do I need to do? And so from the skate park, basically it was just kind of like skating a lot, going to different tournaments with our team, and we had a little shop in there, but it was hemorrhaging money. It wasn't really making money. And so I got into EverQuest. Basically it was just like a random, ask somebody while I was playing Quake if there were any RPGs that were 3D like Quake was that you can play multiplayer. And dude told me about EverQuest. I went to this store. I went to like Walden Soft in the mall, and they had like one box of EverQuest and a couple boxes of UO. And I asked the guy what the difference was, looked at the boxes, and I was like, nope, EverQuest looks better. I'm just going to go with the recommendation. And so I couldn't have been more than like 23 or 24 at the time. I guess 25 is when I got to California. Makes sense. Born in 75, got out there in 2000. So anyway, from the moment I played EverQuest, like I got everything installed, logged in, and was just like in the Kanos newbie yard. And I remember it being night. Like it went from day to night, and then it started raining. And I don't know about you, but man, when the rain started and you hear like the thunder and all that stuff, like I was in there. I was like, holy shit, man, it's raining on me right now. It's nighttime. There's people everywhere. And so my girlfriend at the time, the first class I made a half elf warrior. That's like the most, it's kind of like middle of the road thing I could think of. Yeah, people in the bats flapping and people fighting. So anyways, like I see all these people running around, and it just kind of clicks that those are people. And I yell for my girlfriend. I'm like, come in here, look at this. holy shit, those are people. Those are other people somewhere in the world right now. And I'm like typing and talking to people, you know, and I'm just like, and she wasn't quite as excited as I was. But I was just like, oh my God, I'm sitting in Dothan, Alabama on my dial-up modem with, you know, this computer that, you know, is like a Gateway 2000 or whatever. And I'm in a virtual world. And so I grew up on like the Dragonlance books and, you know, like reading Crystal Shard in the stairwell at school and, you know, all of that sort of shit. And playing D&D and always being around like CRPGs and, like I said, Bard's Tales and Wizardries and, you know, like the SSI gold box games like Pool of Radiance, all that stuff. So always into it. Might and Magic. Always had like some video games in my life. Always had like from 2600 on. You know, I was that kid that when we lived in Germany, you know, my dad would take me to the base, and when I was going to school, like when I was 10 years old, and we lived in a village, and I'd be going to the army base for school. The older kids would be playing Dungeons and Dragons, and the guys at the barracks, when my dad took me up there, would be playing Dungeons and Dragons and shit. So I was hooked on that. The 80s, man, there's always great fantasy movies going on, right? Like, and if it wasn't fantasy, it was sci-fi, right? Like, it was just such a magical time to be a kid, I think, in the 80s. Like, I could go to the library and get all kinds of cool sci-fi painting books or fantasy painting books and stuff and just sit there and keep myself occupied all day. And, you know, skip school and go play Ultima on the Apple IIe or Apple II, whatever, with the monochrome monitor. Or we'd skip school and play D&D. And this is like 11 years old. Anyways, but like I was that kid that would go to the arcade and watch people play Dragon's Lair and then come home and all I had was like a little 2600, which was still pretty dope. But like I would come home with all the Legos that I had, and I had all the crazy like castle Legos because we lived in Germany and we lived in this little Harry Potter looking village and shit. There was a castle on one hill, and it was like a destroyed castle that we could sneak into on one hill, and then a castle that's a hotel, like all nice on the other hill. And it was man, it was like, so it was surrounded by that stuff, but I'd come home and I'd like recreate what I thought were the video game levels, you know, Dragon's Lair or whatever, with Legos. And Grindhouse, thank you for the follow. And so I'd create these like replicas of the Dragon's Lair things with my Legos and play them and stuff like that. So when I'm sitting there in 99 looking at other people like playing in a fantasy virtual world with me, it was all of that plus every William Gibson book I read, you know, all of the, it's like William Gibson and Bruce Sterling and Neil Stephenson and, you know, Pat Cadigan and all of the cyberpunk shit, which as I got older, I was a huge like Shadowrun nerd as well. And so basically I thought as soon as I saw EverQuest, I was like, the Matrix, it's going to be here in like, you know, a year or two, right? We're all going to be in the freaking Matrix, right? This is what, 22 years ago, so we see what's happened there. But anyways, that was a long way to get to the point, which was when I saw EverQuest for the first time, I knew that MMOs were going to be massive. Like, I knew that people were going to be playing in virtual worlds of all sorts. I just knew it. Like, I knew it to the point of I immediately got nervous that I was going to miss out on an opportunity to be part of whatever was about to happen. Like, I don't think I've ever had that sense as strongly as I did right when I started playing EverQuest. I was like, a whole world of rapid sort of like improvement and interesting shit is about to happen, and I don't want to miss it. And so I immediately started like trying to figure out how I could become part of the company that made EverQuest. That was my instant mission. The second I started playing EverQuest was like, I want to be a part of this company. I don't have any relatable skills aside from maybe some modding or whatever. And so anyway, I found out about the guide program pretty quickly and immediately did everything in my everything in my power to become a guide. And like I took that shit so seriously. And so I became a guide pretty quickly. And then I was spending a fair amount of time guiding as well as playing, but like, trying to make sure that I made a good impression on people there. And then, because I figured I could meet somebody at the company. Hey, Kraid. And so I used guiding to meet GMs. And my GM at the time, I forget his GM name, but my GM was a guy named Dave Nevela, who wound up becoming the environment art lead for EverQuest. And so basically I talked to my family and was like, I need to move to California. And I like started explaining to my girlfriend and family like why basically skate park, was like, we should scale down, turn the skate park into a shop, move it and just have a little shop. And then try to sell everything, make some money back, and then I want to move to California as soon as I can. And yeah, so I did that, guided for a while, months, and then I told the GM that I was working with, like Dave, I was like, hey man, I'm gonna move to California. Do you guys ever hire people? He's like, oh, it's kind of hit and miss. And I was like, well, I'm gonna move to California, and then I want you to help me get a job. And so I had my dad co-sign a loan for like $500, and we packed all of our shit into a U-Haul. I had friends in California in the skateboard industry, so I figured if I screw this up and I don't get the job here or whatever, I can work, in the skateboard warehouse or whatever. But I was damn certain that I was going to get a job at Variant at the time. And so when the time came, we packed 2 cats and all of our shit into a U-Haul and strapped our vehicle to the back of it. And I drove west for the first time in my life. Went down the I-10, went to California. Had some adventures along the way. It took us like 2 days. Yeah, I got a loan from the bank for $500. And the I think it was like $500. Might have been 800, but I think it was 500. And basically I had enough money to get the U-Haul, get to California, and I think it was like $800 because I had the U-Haul, got to California, so U-Haul gas, get to California. First night in California, I stayed at like a friend who I knew in high school, who was a pro skateboarder, which if you guys know skateboarding, you may know his name. But like stayed at his house overnight the first night, in where he had a house in like Vista or something, with the U-Haul parked out there, and then drove down. My friend drove me down to his apartment in North Park, and we immediately started looking for apartments in the area. I found like a sketchy apartment for $500 a month cash, and so we were able to get that apartment like fairly no questions asked. Gave her $500, got the key, and then I had no way of contacting my my GM, like Dave. I had no way of contacting him aside from ICQ, and so we loaded ICQ onto the computer at my friend's house. They had like, I think they had AOL on there mainly to meet girls, and so loaded up ICQ, had the ICQ number written down, contacted Dave and was like, hey dude, I'm in California. He's like, what? I was like, I'm in California. He's like, where in California? Like, North Park, I guess? He's like, no shit. That's crazy. I didn't think you were going to do it. And then I was like, yeah, I'm here. Can I come up and interview? And so he's like, hold on, let me go ask Michelle. So he went and asked Michelle Butler, which if you haven't watched the interview with her, it's really fun. And so he was like, yeah, you can come up tomorrow. Michelle will interview you. And so I was like, nice. And went up the next day, man. And I was like terrified to fuck it up. I was so worried I was not going to get this job. And got there and like pulled into the cul-de-sac, and you look in the glass doors and you see like variants just like it is on the game box and stuff, like in letters above the thing, and like boom, went in, had my interview, told Michelle the same story that I just told you guys basically, and she's like, and it wasn't uncommon, man, like people were living in tents in people's yards and stuff in order to be GMs at Variant at the time. And like tons of people were just like all living in the same house, and it was kind of a weird normal pilgrimage. And so anyway, I interviewed with Michelle, and she was super cool, and met Dave for the first time and in person, and then got the job like that day. She was like, yeah, you're good. It was like bam, all right. So I just drove to California, got an apartment and a job at Variant all in the course of like 2 days. So I was like a day ahead of schedule. Like, had it not worked, I would have been kind of screwed, to be honest. Had I not found an apartment, I would have been screwed. Like, I had to unload that U-Haul and give it back ASAP. So, yeah, man, like, boom. I basically, I started at Variant like within the week. We unloaded. The apartment was too small to store our shit in. And so I think it was like an extra $50 a month to rent a garage in the alley out back. And so like 80% of our stuff was in the garage, and until we could afford to buy a bigger apartment like a year and a half later. And that was it, man. Like, started working as customer service on EverQuest. And as soon as I started working on EQ, like as soon as I started working in CS, I immediately just tried to start meeting people on the development team so I could get a job on the team. But being in CS was pretty dope for the first, many months anyway. It was very interesting. The first server I was on was 7th Hammer. And then when I started playing on 7th Hammer, because one of the other developers, kind of my mentor, Steve, was on 7th Hammer, and he was like, hey, you need to come raid. You need to come raid with my guild, learn, about raiding and stuff. So I transferred my character secretly over to 7th Hammer, moved off of 7th Hammer as GM. I hadn't been a GM on that server very long anyway, I don't think. And then became a GM on Talon Zek. Hey, K-Sims. Progress is good until story time kicked off. So we're just messing around with some additional zones. Last time you were here, we were probably playing over here on this side. What I'm wanting to do like this weekend is basically get the remaining zones set up to help us kind of be able to flow all the way around our area here. So BDC said, love story, Shawn. Those experiences are the root of the original MMOs, which has been lost over time. There are many fantasy elements missing nowadays, displaced in flavor of just character progression. Hoping this game brings it all back. Well, I mean, we're going to try to do what we can do. Making games is hard. Meeting people's expectations is real hard. So we'll see. It'll be amped if we can be half as good as what you guys are hoping for. Thanks, Epic. Did I meet Brad as a GM? I met him at like in passing at parties as a GM. When I was basically, once I got sort of the nod from some of the other folk of like, oh, Shawn's cool, he can come to the party. So that's when I was basically starting to become like trying to get a job as an apprentice. And so, yeah, I mean, they were working hard. I'm trying to think how long Kunark had been out. And I could have sworn Kunark came out when I was a GM. I'd have to look. Ruins of Kunark. The Ruins of Kunark was April 24th, 2000. So I'd like to say that I was in California by then. I thought I was there by then. Because I remember either as a guide or a GM. But I thought I was a GM. Spending time pulling people out from under Dreadlands and Field of Bone because people were falling through the world. But then as Velius was being worked on, that's when I started meeting the apprentices and seeing the work that people were doing after hours. And so that's kind of how I got my job. Was people were crunching for Velius. And so they were staying late. Like basically the apprentice program was GMs and stuff that GMs that were working we'd like do our full shift. And then at the end of our shift, we could just stay there and keep working. And so I'm the kind of guy, like I've always gotten my opportunities by hanging out when other people that are doing what I want to do are working. And then trying to find a way of not, being intrusive or distracting. But then if I can ask a question or if I can help in any way, I mean, and not in like the lame way that some people would do, like, oh, can I buy everybody coffee? And it's cool when you do that and you're being cool. But if I realized that I would have to do more than buy people coffee. Like I need to actually provide them with some lasting value. And so, basically, I just sit and listen and sort of learn and find an opportunity to ask a question and watch how people are doing stuff without interrupting them. And then, just kind of build on that. And so our hours as GMs, I think were like, I think it was like, we would get done in the evening at 8 or 9 or something like that. I think prime time was over at like 8 for the most part. And so I think we got to work at like 11 or something, and plus a 1 hour lunch break. That makes sense, I think. And then the night shift would come in because our queues would dip down. You would see the queues go down, and believe it or not, we kept the queues pretty in control. Like there's never more than like 10 petitions or 15 petitions if we could help it on a server, and then we'd come in and try to get them down to 0. And then the night shift, which was only a few people, was only like maybe 2 or 4 people, 5 people at night. I remember Ruth and Chris and probably some other people, but Ruth and Chris for sure would come in and take over, and then they would handle all of the servers for the rest of the night. But before then, or right around then, the apprentices would still be working. So they'd get done for the night, and then they would just keep working for a few hours. And then what wound up happening was, as soon as I could become an apprentice, I would work my shift and get done at like, whenever it was, like 8 o'clock or something. My girlfriend and I, we'd run and grab food, go to Roberto's or whatever, get some carne asada fries, come back, eat at work, right? So, and then I'd work till maybe, there are a lot of nights where I'd work until 2 or 3 in the morning, and then we'd go home and then sleep for a while and get up and come back to work. And You know, it wasn't too bad because our start time was late enough that it didn't feel that bad. But when I was apprentice, like you get paid for 10 extra hours a week, but anybody that was an apprentice that wanted to get on the team was putting in crazy hours. And did that up until basically, we were doing that because it was like, they told us it was, hey, you're probably not going to get a spot on the team, but you definitely get some good standing on the team if you put in the hours. And so they worked their ass off, got Velius out, and then some of the people that were apprentices got moved onto the team. And then they immediately went into Luckland. And the thing was, Luckland was so big and crazy that they needed full-time apprentices fairly early in that process. And so they started bringing those of us that I went from being an informal apprentice to an apprentice to being an apprentice to being pulled onto the team as a full-time apprentice and like just not even doing any GM work anymore. And so like a few of us got pulled up and we were no longer GMs and we were just doing apprentice work. And that's when I was basically doing nonstop sort of design work. And it would be like anything that either they forgot to do or didn't want to do or whatever. So it's just like, hey, apprentice, here's Charval, implement it, kind of thing. Or, hey, we need some help with whatever. So, and then when Luckland wrapped up, we thought we had to go back to the pit. Like we had to go back to customer service for like not very long, for only like a few weeks or something like that. And then I got the job offer to stay on the team. And that was pretty badass. And then right after that, basically a lot of the design team started leaving to go to Sigil, to work on Vanguard. And so I went from basically being a customer service rep to being a full-time designer to being one of the more experienced EQ designers on the team in like a period of a year, basically. And then we had a couple other designers that had like industry experience that had come on the team, like Rich, and this guy named Dave. But then it was, in terms of people that had been on the team, once all the designers started leaving to go to Vanguard or go to Sigil, it was like, all right, cool. You guys need to, we've already announced Planes of Power. You guys need to get it out. And we had like 8 months to do it. And that was that. That was history. I was on the team from basically I was 2001 to 2004, whatever. It's easier to track expansions. I was, did some bug fixing and, did some creative contribution and work and stuff with, Velius. But it was, Luckland, Plains, Legacy of Akesha, Lost Dungeons. We started Gates and then got pulled off the team to be on EQ2, and then I didn't want to be on EQ2, and then got pulled back on the team for Omens of War, and then was off the team for good from that point. Why didn't you hop on the WoW train? We went to dinner with those guys before WoW came out. Went up and had dinner with Mark Kern and a bunch of the WoW guys and got to sort of see the studio and see the game and stuff before it came out. And I think there was like some thought of us potentially trying to go there. But it was the same, EA actually tried to recruit a bunch of us to start a new game as well, during sort of that period because everybody wanted MMOs. And so we went up to the studio in LA, EA LA, before they moved to their, back when it was like in this weird old shopping mall or something. And the problem was, not gonna lie, Sony really took care of us, so it's kind of hard to leave. Like we got royalties every quarter from Sony, so it was like a profit share. I think when somebody had asked a little bit about our setup in Discord the other day, I mentioned that like I've never been compensated I think as well as when I was at SOE during that period. Excuse me. All Classics Gaming, thank you for the raid. I'm probably going to wrap up here in a few minutes, but it's good to meet all of y'all. It's good timing because I'll push all my buttons that give you all of the info. Thank you, Keith. And if you guys like EverQuest stories, I just told a long one. Here. This collection of VODs, it's like 60-ish, 60 plus hours of conversations with former EverQuest designers, mainly programmers, artists. You can find them all at A Loving Robot on Facebook. I think my YouTube link is only for our game here, but that's a link to our development VODs. Those of you that are new here, we're working on a very classic style MMO with our little indie team. Oh, hey, Retro Gamer. Okay, now I know who you are. So when I'm not babbling about stuff, I'm working on some stuff. We have about half the team is doing various streams as well. You can find them on the YouTube link above, or you can just follow their Twitch, and they stream. I'm in Germany at the moment. Craig, thank you for the follow. I'm in Germany at the moment. I'm an American, but I live here. So it's 11 p.m. So I usually wrap up about now. But the rest of the guys, especially Zukin and Pattis, they stream pretty regularly, and they stream like evenings your time, I think, if you're in the US. Be sure to follow our mailing list. We are like at 1,200 people on the mailing list. So we'll be sending out some more surveys and stuff on that. It's a good thing for you to join if you're interested. If you've never heard of our game, that is our website. Calador, thank you for the follow. Raid. Oh, hoppla. 23 Uhr schön. Das Bett für mir schön. Ich möchte schlafen. Hey, Novus, you're very welcome. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight, guys. It's my weekend. I usually just stream Tuesdays and Thursdays. Be sure to join our Discord. So that's the stream Discord. I gotta apologize. Stream Discord is not that active because lately I've mainly just been in the Monsters and Memories Discord. Oh, you were in KC as your cleric on green? I wish I was high enough level to hang out with you. Trade. Guten Abend, schlaf gut. Es freue mich, dich kennenzulernen. So, yeah, those are all the links. You got the YouTube, you got the mailing list, you got the Discords. Vielen Dank. Got the website. Yeah. So, I'm going to wrap up now. I'm going to go to bed. What I'm going to do, I'll keep an eye on Discord for those of you that have questions and stuff. I've been trying to hop in there as much as possible when I wake up in the mornings. What I'm going to do is, like I've been saying on Tuesday and Thursday, I told you Tuesday you wouldn't see a ton of progress until maybe next Tuesday. So we got a little bit done here, learned a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get the rest of these placeholder zones up and actually on the server, so that we can hop in and run through and just kind of see the world. It'll be huge, so we may have to cheat. It'll be huge and fairly empty, but it'll be functioning. So I'll try to have that ready by Tuesday, and then we'll go from there. Like I said, those of you that are new, please check out the VODs of the work that we've been doing, and you'll see a lot of different gameplay and other stuff. So there is a lot to it. We've been working on this since September of 2020, so not 2 years yet, but a lot of the functionality is in place. A lot of gameplay is already there. We're just kind of cranking away on stuff. So, all right. Good night, everybody. Excuse me. I always do these streams after dinner, and so I burp a lot, and I apologize. Good night, Epic. Good night, Kaladar. Keith, good night. Marika, good night. Who else? I'm happy to say goodnight to anybody that wants to say goodnight. It's got like a kind of a Walton's way to wrap up the stream. It feels good. Nice. So don't be shy. You have never heard that story before, Zukin? Holy shit. I'm glad I shared it then. Ham, I saw you come in earlier, but I was telling my story. I've got questions for you, buddy, about how's this supposed to look. Let's talk about some of the lore here whenever you're available next, and we'll sketch some stuff up, and I'm going to keep pounding away on this. But yeah, super cool. I'm glad you got a chance to hear it, Zukin. Nope, can't extend the stream. I gotta go to bed. I'm old. All right, guys. If that's it, then I'm out of here, and I will see everybody on Tuesday, unless I see you in Discord first. Be sure to check out some of the other streams. Everybody have a safe and awesome weekend.